David, why don't you go ahead and kind of set it up for us? What is pre-need? How does it work?
Well, I want to start with the preconceptions of pre-need, if you're okay.
Well, let's define pre-need. Let's define it first. Yeah.
Okay. Pre-need is basically you paying for your funeral in an amount of time. It can be assigned to a funeral home. Arrangements can be made at the funeral home. And with our product, it's transferable. It's portable.
And it's a life insurance plan. It's whole life insurance. It's a paid up plan, if you know what that is. You get done paying with it up a year, 5, 7, 10 years, right? Just depending on the product. But what's the biggest misconception of the product?
Well, I guess the biggest misconception for me, Mr. Duford, probably all of y'all, was I thought you had to have a funeral home license or be affiliated with a funeral home, working for a funeral home to be able to market this product.
Right.
And that is totally false, believe it or not, which is great for us. We like to think we stay up on the business. I mean, I know he's always looking at stuff, you know, and I try to myself. But it's something that is just, it's new to us, first of all. But the first thing that struck me when David started talking to me about it was there's one objection I really can't get over when I'm working, when I'm helping agents, you know, and that objection is, okay, David, explain to me why it wouldn't be better for me just to pay this off at the funeral home. Well, I really, honestly, financially, I can't sit there and tell you that's not the best thing to do, because I feel that, honestly, having it paid for is the better way.
Now, there are cases where it doesn't make sense. A lot of our clients can't afford what, as we'll get into it, what the pre-need costs. And that it happens to be that most times, I mean, what we're doing is good, but there's a subsection of the final expense market that I would call really middle class. I mean, they look at a final expense plan. I call it the calculator objection. It's like, why am I spending all this money when I could just save it or pull it out of my 401k? It just doesn't immediately make sense to get final expense, where pre-need, as you'll discover, will.
Yes. Yes, Chris.
Is there help involved?
Let's save that question. We're going to get to that.
We'll get to that in a minute. We run into, you know, when you pull up at a house, or I know the people on the telephone, y'all can't see this, right? But you pull up to a house and you're like, why am I here?
And it's not a dump. We love dumps.
No,
that's where we're selling insurance.
I love the old box style aluminum trailer houses, preferably. I mean, that's good, been good to me. But when you pull up and you're like, why in the world did they send this in? You know, is somebody staying with them? Well, now we have a product that I feel is I can present to them. And I think they will be interested in it. And it's not going to be all of our leads. You know, we're buying leads, right? That we're a lead-driven business. I think and what we want to focus on is that we're going to offer two great things now. We've got our final expense, the life insurance, which is wonderful. And then we've also got our new product, pre-need, which is also wonderful. There's different kinds of people in this world, and they think differently, right? I know some people that believe only in term insurance. I know some that believe only in whole life. And I know some that their parents, grandparents have all planned at a funeral home, and they believe in pre-need. And if we're going to build our business to be strong, if we're going to help our clients the way we want to, then we're going to have every option out there that we can to help our clients in this area.
So let me hit on some pros here of what is attractive about this product. Number one, The health questions. There's 2 health questions. That's it. If the client can answer no to both of those questions, they qualify for immediate first day full coverage.
Yeah.
Okay. If they answer yes to one or both of those health questions, there's a guaranteed issue policy. That's a 2-year waiting period policy. That policy, I think, is 0 to 80.
Yes.
The level policy is 0 to 90. 90. Yeah. So you have now a much larger breadth of options from an age range standpoint with a very simplified issue product. Again, simplified issue being two questions. Chris, yeah.
Big charge.
There are chargebacks. So let me save that for the end because it is a little bit different here. I need to set this up to make the chargeback sound a little better. Yeah. Let me get there.
So there's charge, risk and reward.
Yes.
You know how it goes.
The average case is $1,100. That's the commission you make. Okay. And final expenses probably, it depends if you're free leads or not, but it's a little bit less. So there's a higher first year commission with this product. The persistency with this product, if sold correctly, is 90% or better, meaning 90% of what you write stays on the books for at least a year. If you sold final expense long enough, it rarely is 90%. It's more like 80%, maybe less. So there's less people bouncing around, but part of it is because it is a higher quality product for a client with a little bit more money to spend. Some weird things about it. It pays based off of the face amount. So your commission is based off of what the face amount is. And it also varies by age with the sweet spot and maximum compensation between 50 and 75. Younger than that, it pays less, and then older than that, it pays less. The average age of people who work in our agency who write this kind of business is about 66 of the clients. So we're getting a lot of people in that sweet spot. It's not people who are too old.
So is there a difference in commission if it's 3 pay, 5 pay, 10 pay, or if they pay a single payment for that?
If it's a single pay, which is very rare, that's where they pay all up front, it's a lot less.
Okay.
Most of what we sell is a 10 pay, and we'll get to why that's the case because it's pretty neat what this product does. So 10 pay, pays on face amount, chargebacks, let's talk about that. There is a first year chargeback if the policy lapses. So you make it pay 11 payments and Mildred says no more, cancels that. You get a full chargeback for the full year.
Yeah.
I know, cringy, right? But here's the thing. You have to sell it right, because if the persistency wasn't 90% plus, then I would be immediately, if it was like 80%, no way.
Yeah.
But we're talking very good persistency. So this is a much more service-oriented product. You go in and you sell what casket they're going to get, what their plans are. This isn't a pump and dump.
Yeah.
This isn't a one-call close. This is you come in there and you offer a very valuable service to pre-plan for the client. Okay. So that's why the persistency is a lot better.
Yes.
What about that? Dime.
Well, that's a good question. I believe it's going to follow some similar provisions of like rescission, but it's first day full coverage. So if the client checks out, it'll fully pay.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, if they're fully covered.
Well, the GI.
Yeah, I'll have to get back. I'm not 100% sure on that, to be honest.
Yes.
Let's see what else. You want to talk about the referral benefits? And this is huge, what David's about to describe.
This is what enticed me the most. Because like we said earlier, I'm sitting in an office all day, right? I don't really like that much. Sorry, but you know, it is what it is. I'll do it. But I love talking to people, right? And I get to talk to my agents all day long. So that's a blessing. But we're working on ways to go to our funeral homes, our local funeral homes, talk to them, show them how we are an asset to them, not charge them anything to be an asset, and seek referrals from the funeral home. To me, that is what really intrigued me.
Yeah, and think about it here. So funeral homes are not salespeople, like they're service people. the way that they have established themselves in their area is by service, not how good of salespeople they are. Trust me, the ones who are pushy salespeople in the funeral business have a bad reputation. They don't last, right? Yeah. So, but it hurts them in a sense because they usually don't have an outside salesperson to go find business. The business comes in as people decide it's time, and usually that's after a death, and they realize pre-need is important, right? So where we play an important role is we act as the outside salesperson. We go find this business through our lead. You can do it with the same leads you're using now, write the piece of business, leave it unassigned, then take it to the funeral home and say, congratulations, funeral home. I've just sold you a new client. It's already done. It's already insured. All you need to do is just put your name on it.
Yeah.
Now think about doing that for these people. Do you think they'd appreciate that? They like the idea of it? A lot of them would. Maybe a little worried about like, okay, who's this guy? What is he going to do? But once they get to know you and develop a relationship with you, they will send you business because you've proven yourself to be a person that gives them business. And you don't have to be tied to one funeral home. You want to tell them about John and SoCal?
Oh, yes. Well, and we've got an agent who's already been doing this. And honestly, things get rocky in our business, right? He has put focus into this, and I mean, is really going above and beyond with it. He's building relationships. The key is building that relationship. And look, we're good at doing that already. That's what we do, right? Whether it's over the phone or face to face, we still build relationships. And honestly, I don't think he'd get upset me saying there's times this business has pulled his other business afloat.
Sure.
And that's what we need. We always need a plan B, right? We have a plan A, but what if that cornerstone falls out in that foundation and we have to repair it? We always need a plan B at that time. That's the other part about this that I really like is I can honestly now go in that house, tell them I'm a broker, and I should be able to have something for you.
Yeah, and I think this pre-need product doesn't cannibalize your final expense sales. It gives you ones you would have otherwise missed.
Yes.
And John Pinilla in California, what I was trying to describe, he has probably a half dozen funeral homes. So you're not married to one funeral home. You can have multiple funeral home affiliations that send you business, right? So it's allows you to scale this ability to generate your own referrals, right? You should love referrals. People are already sold on you. They were told to buy from you, from the funeral director. Like, this is real. It happens. That's excellent.
And I, like I said, that with John as an example, that let me know that, hey, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it. Yeah. You can do it. We just do the activity, right? We build that relationship. I was nervous about multiple funeral homes. I'll just throw that out there. I was at first because will they get mad at me for working over here? When they see me at Walmart, will they talk to me still? But no, it's not that way. You show you're a value. You're doing what your client wants. And like Dave was saying, go out and sell several of these. Go assign them. And they'll remember you at that point. They're going to know who you are.
Yeah, we missed a really important point. The product itself. So this product was, it's has a final expense division and they have a pre-need division. So even if you got a final expense contract with them, you don't not automatically have access to the pre-need. So there's like two different divisions, right? Here's what makes this product really special. It essentially protects against inflation.
Yes.
If you talk to any funeral directors, the way that they sell this stuff is they say, hey, sign this policy with me. We'll lock our prices in place. So when you die, your family doesn't have to come out the difference in how much it's escalated in price. But what happens is the funeral home carries the burden that the policy will grow in enough value to cover that. And there's no guarantee that that will happen. So a lot of times funeral homes may pay more than they would otherwise do. But with this product, compared to others, if you extrapolated over 10 years of just paying the regular premium, the policy almost doubles in coverage amount in 10 years. So if you start with a $10,000 plan, so if they died at any point in their first day full coverage, it's $10,000 paid to the funeral home to pay for the expenses. But every year after, approximately, up to 10 years, it gets better and better. So if they died after the 10th year, they're not getting $10,000, they're getting $20,000, the funeral home. And then if there's leftover money, they give it to the family. Yeah. So funeral homes love this because most plans don't grow at the rate and pre-need plans do. So, one more reason to do business with you, a plan that better protects. Chris in the back.
Yes.
Probably all life insurance has
there's a 2-year contestability like everything else. Yes, sir.
After all pre-need products, is there something
you can recruit them? You could recruit them to your downline. I mean, you really could. Yeah, so they can take a cut too. Yeah. We don't offer that. We can with me.
Yeah.
That's really the response. So yeah, some of these do, like there's a funeral home in town that did, but there's a lot that don't.
I ran into a funeral home not too far from me that does. That's okay. I'm going to be talking to them about working with us, that's the goal. But another thing that I like about this, they've got it's an iPremium app, and it's what we use while we're in the field. And you can put it on your device, and I can tell them in every month of the program, no matter which plan they have, how much money it's going to pay out. It's going to pay the greater of the amount paid in plus growth or the face amount. So and I usually say this, it's like a pre-need on a life insurance chassis.
Yeah.
It's unusual. It's taken me some time to wrap my head around it, honestly. Dave and I thought about it a while, hashed it out. It's different than what we do, but I love having the life insurance benefit in there. If they get first day full coverage, haven't paid enough into that plan to make it pay out what normally happened, you've got what you paid in. With this, you got the life insurance.
Can you run an illustration for those people so they can see how much it?
You can show them and run an illustration.
Okay.
Break it out for them, whatever they want.
And then how much does it go up to? What's the max?
$24,999. So you can get the Cadillac funeral in there.
Questions?
What's the affordability?
The affordability. You want to run a quote real quick?
Go for it if you want to. It's going to be more expensive than the average final.
It's higher. Yeah, I want to let you know that it's for a different kind of. Hey, John. Okay, it's going to average on somebody like me. I've run myself before. It's just shy of $100. Now, folks that are older, it's going to be 160, 170. That's why we stretch it out over the 10-year period, honestly, too. That's going to equate with the price.
Yeah.
But it still depends on their age and their answer to the 2 health questions. One thing on the 2 health questions, I've got a video, the big boomers. Okay, it's the big boomers is what's in the health questions, the ones that are normally knockouts. With the other companies, your cancer, your transplants, those are the questions. So a healthy person, actually semi-healthy person, honestly, can still be first day full coverage with it. But anybody can get coverage. And when I look at it on the payouts, it pays better than their premium and 10% in the first 2 years, even if it is they die and they've got a 2-year wait. It's better pay. Yes, Chris. Sticking his nose.
Yeah. So, what quote are you using?
It's one that you get that they provide it's a mobile app. Once you get contracted, Chris, we'll get you one.
But David, you're locked into a funeral home, though, correct?
Say that.
You are locked into a funeral home?
No, sir. This is portable. This is another good thing. Say that we move say I've got it on me and we move from Tennessee to Florida, we can transfer that to a home in Florida. It's not an issue.
Right.
Now, the only thing I do want to say a disclaimer on that, that does not mean the price is going to be the same at the one in Florida, right? You know, we don't know that, but it's portable with us.
So would you go to the funeral home first and say, I have this product, or do you bring the product to the funeral home?
Good question.
That is a good one. There's two ways to do it, right? It's either we bring the product to them. That's what I went out, and that's the way I tackled it. I run some 8-9-month-old leads, and I sold final expense or pre-need. What I did in our script, I added a line after we get the why. I said, okay, there's a couple that I told you as a broker, there's a couple different ways you can pay for your final expenses. The first way is our traditional life insurance, and it's great. The other option is a pre-need plan. It's like what you normally would do through the funeral home, but I can do it here at your kitchen table. Which one of those two interests you the most? And then I let them guide me. So we talked about, let's say we talked about one and it didn't work. I've got to pivot, right? I've still got another product in the basket that will still cover their final expenses. So I think it's going to be great because of that.
So I might have missed it. So are you kind of recommending this as an alternative to a guaranteed issue? Or would you?
I mean, you could. I think it's more along the lines of affordability.
It's for a different type of
Right.
client than sometimes I run into. But it's for the ones. Here's what I recommend. I know there's 15 or 20 guaranteed a year that slip by me just because of this reason. We catch those. Then we build off of that.
So the health question, is there an MIB check?
No, there is not. The only time they're going to run an MIB is if they die within the contestability period, which is the first 2 years.
And so they don't have, they don't have to prepay this.
No.
They can, they can just pay every single month.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
On the plan.
we want them to pay monthly for 10 years to get the total growth,
Okay.
to maximize the inflation. That's
Do
what
most of the funeral homes make you prepay it? Or do they have a payment plan as well?
So that's why the insurance product exists, because coming out of pocket for 10 grand,
Yeah.
a lot of people can't do it. Plus, the funeral homes aren't going to hold the inventory for X amount of years. So when the person finally dies, and the other factor is inflation. So there's a lot of risk there. So this is why insurance exists. I mean, it solves the problem.
the
Premium is
insurance
huge.
part
Yeah.
fixes that
Right.
problem. That's why I like it being on the insurance chassis.
So I go up to the funeral home director or whoever is in
Yes.
charge. I tell them I have this product. It's a pre-need product, and that's how I introduce,
Yeah.
I guess, this.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically, I'm actually recording some videos Monday on how to approach the funeral home. And look, y'all, I'm not an expert. Have y'all figured that out yet? But we got the experts. I mean, I'm trained, but I ain't been doing this like as long as I have final expense. So we're going to bring in some other partners of ours in with us, and they are going to train us by videos done with me, answering all these questions. And I do have the how to go to the funeral home one set up. We're doing it Monday. So we're building a training site in school to house all of this. We'll have it as a standalone.
Your conversation with them will be on this.
Yes, I've got 3 videos out there already. And then we'll be adding a lot this week. I'm really focusing on getting our videos done.
And the great thing about this is there's virtually nobody who's doing this, guys. I mean, nobody's recruiting at this at any scale. And I haven't heard really anybody talk about it except John Pinella a year ago. And it's wide open. And people really like this product for who it's designed for. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's really a great opportunity to get with them. A couple more questions here. And we'll
Isn't it
move on.
funny we were in Vegas when we heard about it?
We were?
I was the first time.
Oh, okay.
I was the first time.
So this really excites me, as I told you out
Yes,
there.
ma'am.
I love sales. I love going in and personally talking to somebody. I've gone phone sales, but I'll tell you, it's much harder. To go in there and make this presentation to somebody is just exciting. And I truly think that what we need as out in the field is we need the most professional flyer done with bullet points of exactly what we
Yes.
hit for all of that, where we can put a cut and paste picture of ourselves, our phone number, how to contact us as an agent. And we can present that to the funeral home when we go and present ourselves.
Yes.
So that's what I think would be phenomenal for us as agents.
I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I'm also working, Dave, I guess I'll tell you later. I'm talking to some folks about some other marketings for the funeral home that's going to be done digitally, where it comes back to us. So we'll check it out and see how it goes.
So what's the compliance on direct mail, like to mail them out?
We've got a vendor that does pre-need direct mail.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, it's no compliance. It's not like Medicare.
It's
compliance or
no,
anything
yeah,
like
there's
that.
not the compliance on it.
So, when we were talking about this presentation for the funeral home, I don't have any customers to bring them,
Okay.
okay, right now.
Yeah.
But I want to contact the funeral home and bring the flyer or something.
Okay.
You guys will have something set up because you're going to
Yes.
walk in the door and the guy's going to say, who are you? What are you selling? What do you want?
Yes, we're
Right.
gonna have this week. I'm
Thank you.
working with them on a script, a funeral director script that we're gonna have, and I'm gonna go out and try it as soon as I get it, just to see how I do at it. So I'll let y'all know.
So does that mean that you have leads
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for, and you're gonna do, and so we have to buy the leads from you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Telesales.
okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
important distinction here, probably
talk
shouldn't have
about
waited
it,
to the end. This is a service-oriented product that has traditionally been sold in the home or at the funeral home. So what you're going to see with this is that you have to sell this in a local area.
Yeah.
Most people who sell locally are going to sell face-to-face. You can sell it over Zoom, but the biggest issue with this, I think, is the funeral home relations.
Yeah.
You want to develop those relations because that's ultimately where all this business is going. So if you're going to sell over the phone or sell remotely, do so from Houston. Do so from your hometown. That's fine, but you want to go make those relations because the
Yes.
referrals are really what's going to make this business exciting.
what's
Chris,
gonna
last
drive.
question.
I'm
from
just
Chris.
firing at Will here, but so
Obviously.
the funeral home has to have their name on that application. So if I deal with 5 different funeral homes in my hometown, each application has to have that.
After the fact, you don't have to have it up front.
after you assign it, you don't have to assign it up front. We can leave it as a
Yeah.
life insurance contract, and it still has the same.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about any of that.
You don't have to.
You would.
That's what I like too.
Track those referrals from the funeral home. You would keep track of that somehow. If
Yeah.
XYZ funeral home
Yeah.
is sending referrals, you don't want to offer them up some other funeral home.
Exactly.
You just have to track that a little bit.
You'll
But that's,
track it, and
also referrals.
we're working on some stuff to track all that too.
Right. All right, guys. So that's it for pre-need. If you guys are interested in working with that on us, even if you have your final expense somewhere else and you want to do pre-need, we can work with you. Just talk to David. David will hook you up. He's a guy in front of it running it for us. So thank you very much. So